changed. Don Juan tells Carlos Castaneda one time. Now don't get stuck in whether it's real or not, if it was all a hoax. Which, wouldn't that be a great way for a master to vanish in the air? You'll never find me. To completely disappear off the grid, right? So I think Don Juan's still around. Anyway, so one time, after years of working with Don Juan, Carlos is a hard nut to crack for Don Juan, which is what he's enjoying, right? It's a good laboratory experiment. Can we change a Western enculturated into the Western cult mind anthropology professor? Can we get him to release his pattern programs and go into his luminous body and the bridge across forever into other dimensions? It's a good project for a shaman. And so one day, Don Juan keeps saying, well, you must change, Carlos. He says, well, why are you complaining about whatever? But what about my programming? What about this or the world, the horrible world? And what about this and that? And what about my family? And what about, what about the spiritual whining? Or complaining, or ego objections that we all have, thousands of them. I do too. And so one day there's an opening, and Carlos says to Don Juan, well, what did you do? He said, when Don Juan's saying, well, I used to be a man, I used to be one of the living, walking dead. He doesn't use those words, but very close. And there's a moment where there's an opening. And Carlos asks him, and Carlos is ready to hear, and it's ready to penetrate. He says, what did you do, Don Juan? And he something in the book probably is like, Don Juan looked at me fiercely, as if he looked through me, and he said, I changed. You ever see polar bears in an old zoo, horrible as they were, or films of them? Gab, come on. They're in a little cage, or lions, or whatever. They would get zoo sickness, where they would just walk like zombies in a circle. They're imprisoned in this cage, if it's 30-foot cage or whatever. The old Bronx Zoo used to be like that. And they're like insane. Or horses in stalls, or whenever you enclose the spirit, it kind of goes into a survival mode, insanity, or Nelson Mandela in his prison cell, or humans, or, we go into this insanity mode. Well, that's basically what's happened. We've been traumatized by something really bad, scared us, traumatized us, on a deep level, collectively, the fall, the cataclysms, the comets, the sinking of Atlantis, the collapse of your civilization. Come on, Gab, let's go. So forth. Or watching your children be murdered in front of you, or watching your mother be raped and killed in front of you, or whatever. Like in that movie Gladiator. Remember how they rape and murder his wife and kill his children? So, after thousands of lifetimes of trauma, we have become like the zoo animals. We're like the zombie living dead. The alarm clock, go to our cubicle. We're fucking living in cubicles, right? So we have this trauma, and it's a coping mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. Posted something, someone sent me, my friend Keith sends me these beautiful distills wisdom from the internet, and sends a lot of them to me, which I really appreciate, where it said, the coping mechanisms you had that helped you survive, you're going to have to let go of in order to thrive. I changed. I don't know if I can transmit the essence of this so much, but there comes a time when all of a sudden you change. You're born again. Jesus does that thing, right? All things are brand new. You do an L shift, like I talked about in the latest video. So there's a volition, there's a graceful space, like in the last video, where your grace is helping you, magic, erasure, the graceful erasure that erases your sins, your karma, your samskaras, your tendencies, your karmic seeds. But there's also an outward, that's an inward receptive, that's a yin, receiving the grace. There's an outward, there is an outward, sort of a natural, your spirit just rises up and says, I'm not doing that anymore, or I'm changing to that. I changed. I am no longer that person. What I'm suggesting today is just make yourself open to that. The passive receptive yin, thank you, come in, sow the seed in me. It's very sexual, all of it's yin yang, female, male. And then something bursts out of me, flowers. 1,000-petal lotuses. Okay, fine. My heart burst open. Yep, good. All true. All the imagery is great. There's something that goes forward, forth. I went forth instead of inward, both, right? Inward, be still and know that I'm God. Receive, do your Taoist meditation, do your esoteric communion. And then there's something that bursts forth. I changed. I change. I am no longer doing that. That's the old me. And here's what I'm doing. I'm interested in this. I no longer do that. I changed. In the twinkling of an eye. That's how it comes. Make yourself open to this spontaneous eruption, effulgent effusion of going forth into I changed. You can't force it. You can't make the flower bloom too soon. But make yourself available. Be fertile soil for the seed that then naturally will do itself. Even action is surrender. Even action is surrender. Or it's not sustainable. Go forth. My neighbor told me yesterday, said, love is the only action. Everything else is the reaction. Go forth, it bursts out. I changed. Make yourself available to that moment that it took 3 years for Don Juan to get Carlos into that moment where he could drop the truth bomb, the activation, injection seed into his eyes, into his spinal column. You're ready to hear now. Okay. You're ready to feel now. You're ready to receive now. Your cup isn't full, you know, your teacup thing about the Zen master. He keeps pouring, and it overflows, and the student goes, stop, master. He says, how can I give you anything? Your cup's already full. You think you know everything. So finally, Carlos doesn't have that full cup. He's ready to receive something into his cup, and he therefore asks. His soul asks. That's the only time teachable moments or moments like that happen. That's the only time. Okay, Gab, come here. Come on, Gab. So, just make yourself available for something in me can, when it does it through me, you surrender and allow it to do itself through you. It bursts forth. She's very friendly. She's very friendly. Good. Yeah. It's an excuse to stop. Right?
Have a good day.
You too. Enjoy. You too. You're close if you've never done it. You're
yeah.
getting closer.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Okay. There you go. I'm on the airport loop trail around Sedona. And it's quite a hike, actually. Look at all their gear and their ski poles. I'm out here walking in my sandals with a tank top on. Make yourself available for the transformation, the alchemy. Change happened through me. Of my own self, I do nothing. Allow the Tao. Get the t-shirt. I got them. Mr. T's, T-E-S, .threadless.com. Allow the Tao. Everybody likes that one. All right. Check out, if you want the healing method, start with the Inner Body Awakening Ancient Shiva Technique. TobiasLars.com. The webcasts, we had a good one yesterday on Sundays. You can attend live or you can listen to the recording. Or like a lot of people do, both. Halfway through the week they re-listen to it, so they get kind of a double dose. Much love. There's Coffee Pot Rock over here. They call it Eagle Rock now, which I agree with. Coxcomb. I haven't done that yet. It's over here. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, much love. More to come. Mo later.